Roger McDowell came on in the 8th, and when he was finished with his 2 innings of scoreless relief, the Mets had a surprisingly easy 7-1 win at Fenway, which narrowed the Sox lead in the series to 2-1. The next night, before Game 4, the Mets were loose and confident. Their 13 hits of the night before were one more than the previous 2 games combined. And once again, it was Ron Darling's turn to do the pitching. As he had done in Game 1, Darling was once again brilliant, this time shutting out the Sox for 7 innings on just 4 hits. For the Sox, the pitcher was Al Nipper, who was starting his first game in 2.5 weeks. Through the first 3 innings, Nipper matched Darling 0 for 0. But in the top of the 4th, Wally Backman got the Mets going with a single. Then 1 out later, with Backman now on second, it was Gary Carter's turn.
Al Nipper, I've never faced before, and I was just told that he throws a lot of curveball sliders, and he's got it like a screwball. And all I was looking for, first pitch like that with a runner on second, was just to try and drive the ball somewhere, and it left it out a little bit out over the plate, and fortunately I was able to get it up.
Carter's homer was his first in the Mets' 9 postseason games, and it helped stake New York to a 3-0 lead. Then in the bottom of the 5th, with a man on first and 2 out, Rich Gedman lined one off the wall and left. But Mookie Wilson's throw to second got Gedman with ease, putting an abrupt end to a potential Sox rally. And with their best chance now behind them, the Sox then let the game slip away for good.
Number 4, center fielder, Len Dykstra.
With Steve Crawford in relief of Nipper and Mookie Wilson on second with 2 out in the 7th, Len Dykstra hit a towering drive to right, which deflected off of Dwight Evans' glove and fell into the bullpen for a 2-run homer. One inning later, Gary Carter hit his second homer of the game, this time clearing both the wall and the screen to give the Mets a 6-0 lead. After the Sox scored twice in the 8th, Jesse Orozco came on to shut out Boston the rest of the way, as the Mets won Game 4 6-2 to tie the shuttle series at 2 games each.
In Boston tonight, obviously the hometown crowd turned out in force, hoping last night's spectacular Mets win was only a fluke. Well, instead they saw their team conquered again, but they are not giving up hope. Mike Taibbi reports from Fenway.
Sox fans wore their grim October game faces to Fenway tonight, and it wasn't just because of last night's desultory loss in Game 3. It is because of their history with the Red Sox of dependable, nearly majestic disappointment. 68 years of often fine teams, and always the bitter bridesmaid's bouquet in the end. The true Sox fan, the fan born or persuaded to his tragic romance, knows that, and after Game 3 was willing to speak the truth.
Well, we didn't expect much out of them this year when they started. You know?
Sounds like you're making an excuse already. I mean, what happens if they do lose?
If they lose, we're used to that, too. We've seen it in 78, 75, 67.
It's a mystique. There's more of an aura about it's the Red Sox, Fenway Park. It's not like just one player, this player, a great team here. It's sort of a whole, it's a whole. I think they love the whole scene.
And if they lost, it probably wouldn't detract from that mystique, would it?
I don't think so.
Tonight, a night reminiscent of so many October evenings when the chills settled in, they packed their jewel of a bandbox to see if the script would change. The Sox pushed men into scoring position in each of the first 2 innings before the Mets' onslaught, but they died there. Would the dream die here? But in the second inning, something else happened that perhaps says more about this team, these fans, and their city than anything else. Failing again, seeming to approach the ultimate failure again, a small column of balloons wafted across the fence green canvas, carrying a message. The fans cheered. Mets shortstop Rafael Santana had to make a play on it, but the point was made. In New York on Sunday, someone threw a golf ball at Jim Rice as he settled under a fly ball. Here it was a love note, suspended by helium balloons, a message that hoped to urge on the improbable, but that would settle, as it always has, for nothing more than more of this. In Boston, Mike Taibbi, News 4 New York.
The Mets have come back from 2 games down to tie it up, so those tickets you have for Game 6 at Shea Stadium are good, Al. Don't throw them away. Okay. 6-2 the final tonight. Ron Darling finally gets a win. If you take away Game 2, the Red Sox have just 3 earned runs in the other 3 games. Good Mets pitching in the first. Darling works out of the bases-loaded jam. Got Dwight Evans on the force out. And Rafael Santana fine grab here in the first. The first balloon put out in World Series history. We looked it up. Good play by Hernandez in the fourth. The pitch out just threw the bat at the ball. Backman is able to get to second base. They throw Hernandez out, but good batsmanship because the next guy up, Gary Carter, and he drills it off Al Nipper. Presto, 2-0 Mets. They got 3 in the fourth inning. Then the catchers got greedy. Top of the sixth inning, Ray Knight's line drive, and Carter tries to tag and score. Forget it. Jim Rice throws him out. Bottom of the sixth inning now. Red Sox catcher Rich Gedman lines it off the wall. And Mookie thinks he's Carl Yastrzemski in left field. On a bounce, and he nails Gedman trying for a double. Top of the seventh inning. Lenny Dykstra strikes again deep to right field. And Dwight Evans out there is a fabulous right fielder. He tips it over for a 2-run homer. 5-0 Mets. And in the eighth inning, a monster shot for Carter, his second homer over everything into Lansdowne Street. 6-0. 6-2 the final. 2 homers and 3 RBIs for Carter. He had 3 last night. So right now the Mets MVPs for the World Series are Darling, Dykstra, and Carter. We have Sal Marciano at Fenway. We hope to get to him before the end of the broadcast. Now, Game 5 tomorrow night. Some rain is in the Boston forecast. Dwight Gooden will go on only 3 days rest. He's only done that once in his career. Gooden said he wasn't concerned because he only went 5 innings in his Game 2 loss. Bruce Hurst, the Game 1 winner, pitches for Boston. What does he think? We don't know. He dodged reporters today.
Well, Bob Ojeda had it going on, and the Mets win Game 3, 7-1, so they're back in the series, and that brings us to Game 4. Now, Ron Darling's going to come back. He's going to pitch 1, 4, and as it turns out, 7. John McNamara does an interesting thing. He figures that you may need an extra day's rest, and he maybe has a game to play with. He's up 2-1. He's going to go to his number 4 starter, Al Nipper, in Game 4.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk back and forth, I remember, about whether I was going to get the ball or not. But I think Mac made the decision pretty early. I knew that I was going to get Game 5, and so it was no surprise for me. And, you know, Nip was the kind of guy that, you know, was pretty crafty, had a lot of pitches. And, you know, if he's on, he can be pretty tough. He can keep you in the game for a while.
Well, Nipper did not pitch badly, but now it's the top of the 7th. And the Mets behind Darling are leading 3-0. At this point, Nipper is out of the game, and Steve Crawford has come in. He faces Lenny Dykstra with 2 outs and Mookie on second after reaching with a single and then stealing second.
High fly ball into pretty deep right field. Back goes Evans on the track at the wall. Leaps, he can't get it. Home run for Dykstra. And what a picture Evans paints in right field.
Mookie, what was your view of that play?
Yeah, I thought he was going to catch it. To be honest with you, I thought he was going to catch it. But there again, that's a sign of things turning.
Calvin, you probably had a real good look at this, huh?
Yeah, staring right at it. He made the jump, and it's like he was stuck. For some reason, he said he right there, his knee wouldn't let him go any higher, and all he needed was another inch.
And Dwight Evans made so many great plays with his glove and with his arm through the years in right field, and that one just off the webbing of the glove. It's 5-0. The Mets go on to win the game 6-2. It's tied 2-2. And now you've got the ball, and you've got to right your team and reassert control of the series in Game 5.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was 2-2. We knew the Mets weren't just going to roll over. And, you know, I just wanted to go out exactly kind of what we did in Game 5 in the ALCS. You know, I knew I was going up against a great pitcher, and I knew that I couldn't probably give up very much. And I just wanted to see if I could go pitch for pitch with him, keep us in the game. And, you know, we'd been swinging the bat pretty well and see what happens. That was my thinking. And I was rested. I felt good.
When he stood on the mound at Shea Stadium, 21-year-old Dwight Gooden, as befits his age, was full of life and optimism early in the game when he looked down the barrel of Jim Rice's bat and without any hesitation struck him out. Moments later, however, Dave Henderson aged him, and Dwight Evans added the weight of more years to his shoulders, and his youthful hopes were dashed 9-3. Dwight Gooden, the loser in Game 2. Bruce Bruce Hurst is a left-hander and is 28 years old. But there was that game against Minnesota on May 31st when he felt much older than 28. He suffered a serious groin injury that would sideline him for over 6 weeks. But in October, he felt younger than that when he struck out Len Dykstra. And he felt even better than that when the Mets won out in the 9th to give him a victory in Game 1. The kid from Florida and the left-hander from Utah, they meet tonight in Game 5 of the 1986 World Series. Of the 1986 World Series is brought to you by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer. By Toyota, who offers you a full line of 1987 cars and trucks. Who could ask for anything more? By AT&T, the right choice. And by Aetna, the insurance people. Work with the best in the business. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Joe Garagiola, and welcome to Game 5. John McNamara's calculated gamble didn't quite work last night.
Well, it didn't work because he lost the game, but he feels that it did work because his 3 starting pitchers are right where he wanted them. The bullpen is in good shape, so he's happy about that.
And for Davy Johnson, if it goes 7, each of his starting pitchers will be working on 3 days rest. And remember that Roger McDowell has already appeared in Games 1, 3, and 4. Another decision for Davy Johnson tonight, play Tim Tuffle or Wally Backman against a left-hander.
Well, I think it's pretty simple. What he's thinking that the team that got me here is a team I'm going to play, so he's going to use Tuffle against the left-hander.
And if anyone was entertaining the idea, Don Baylor playing first to allow Buckner to rest those legs and be the DH. McNamara's thoughts on that?
Same way. The guys that got me here, I'm going to play them. So he has patience. He's showed it all year. He's looking for it again.
Well, we'll find out about Game 5. Will Fenway Park be Hurst Castle, or will it be a new movie called Citizen K? Right now, let's go to Sherm Feller, the public address announcer.
At this time, we ask that you please rise for the presentation of colors by the United States Coast Guard. And now to honor America, the only man to be honored by both the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame in the same year, a Motown legend. Please join Mr. Smokey Robinson in the singing of our national anthem.
So good. Robinson singing our national anthem. The weather is good. We had a light shower that ended about an hour ago, and we're ready for Game 5. We'll be right back right after this. Jam-packed Fenway Park, awaiting the start of Game 5 and the ceremonial first pitch thrown out by Ted Williams, a familiar number 9 for anyone who ever saw him. He came here to Boston in 1939, called it a career in 1960, a lifetime batting average of .344. It just wouldn't be right to have a World Series game here without seeing the kid.
Oh, brother, he still looks pretty good.
It was 1969 when he was named to the starting outfield of the greatest living team. And we're delighted to have him here with us. We have a chance now to take a look at the starting lineup.
Please, ladies and gentlemen.
As you see Wade Boggs and Bill Buckner looking over towards Ted Williams. The visiting Mets, who are trying to keep the road show a winner, opening up their act in Boston and preparing to bring it back to Broadway. Remember, all 4 games in this World Series won by the visiting team. The Sox won the first 2 games at Shea Stadium, and then the Mets returned the favor in the first 2 here at Fenway Park. For the New York Mets, Len Dykstra will be leading off in center field. The decision for Davy Johnson. Do I stay with the inspirational Wally Backman, or do I go with the right-hand hitting second baseman Tim Tuffle? The answer was easy. He goes with Tuffle all year long. He goes with him tonight. Keith Hernandez at first. Gary Carter behind the plate. Darryl Strawberry in right. Ray Knight at third. The designated hitter Kevin Mitchell. The left fielder Mookie Wilson. And the shortstop Rafael Santana. And, of course, the pitcher, Dwight Gooden.
The defense, well, the lineup is exactly the one he's been using. Rice in left field, Henderson in center field, Armas still hurt, Evans in right field, Boggs, Owen, Barrett, and what a series Barrett is having. Buckner at first base, Gedman behind the plate, and Bruce Hurst on the mound.
Bruce Hurst, the 28-year-old left-hander from Utah, with a record of 13-8. But he had 4 shutouts here at Fenway Park, and he was 8-3 at Fenway with 7 complete games. He is 2-0 in postseason play, 1 in the League Championship Series, 1 in the World Series, with an earned run average of 1.5. So he becomes a most formidable foe in Game 5.
Got a great forkball. He's a strikeout pitcher, as indicated by, in fact, for a while there, he was way past Clemens until he got hurt. A good fastball, curveball, the forkball. We saw him against Toronto on a game of the week. He really looked tough. And he's got a good move, so that'll be, I think, a factor in trying to hold these base runners on, because I think you got to believe that Dykstra and Tuffle are going to try to get on and get the big guys going, because Dykstra has been some story in this series.
It'll be interesting indeed. 39 pickoffs in the last 4 years. So it'll be Len Dykstra, then Tim Tuffle and Keith Hernandez. And we're about ready to go in Game 5. A light shower visited Fenway, moved out, and it looks like we're ready. Dykstra with a home run last night and led off the game against Oil Can Boyd with a home run. He had 3 leadoff home runs this year. Boggs up in on the grass, and here we go. Right.
And he starts him right off with the curveball. With all the talk about Buckner's legs and Barrett really breaking in from second base, they still not have, the Mets have not been able to bunt.
No balls and 1 strike to Lenny. The outfield about straight away. And that's fouled off third, carrying upstairs. And out. The breeze tonight is blowing from left to right. And it has straightened out Old Glory in that area. So that'll shorten up that 380 area in right field for the left-hand hitters who can pull. showcase fastball. 1-2. And that's a ground ball to the right of Barrett. Marty stays with it to get it.
Started him off with the curveball, threw a fastball with 2 strikes on him, fastball outside, and a big overhand curveball. He took something off that pitch. So he's already, in just the first batter, showing him he's got pretty good control of his stuff.
One change in the Mets lineup. In Game 1, when Bruce Hurst pitched against the Mets, Tim Tuffle was batting 7th. Tonight against Hurst, he is batting 2nd. He had 2 hits against Hurst in Game 1. Ball 1. And of course, it was Tuffle's error that allowed the only run of the game to score. And now a chance to tell his side. Good fastball. A lot of motion on that one.
When they talk about him, they say that pitchers like to go to one particular pitch when they get in trouble. Not this fella. He's got a couple of them.
1-1 to Tuffle.
Well, he calls it a forkball, but the term of the 80s is a split finger fastball.
And Tuffle a little bit out in front of it. That was the difference between the regular fastball and the forkball. 1-2 the count. On deck, Keith Hernandez. 2-2.
He likes to get on one knee, he says, especially when the left-hander's pitching. When he's in the on-deck circle next, he's bearing down.
And that's hit into right center field, base hit, and it will roll towards the bullpen. Jim Rice allowing Henderson, and Henderson will get it back in, but it's a double for Tuffle. So Tim Tuffle with a long double to right center field, and that would be his 3rd hit against Bruce Hurst.
Just simply goes with the pitch. You see in the outside part of the plate, and Davy Johnson, using the lineup that got him here, puts Tuffle in there, and he's in scoring position, and Hernandez up there.
So by the time Henderson got it in, no play at second base, and Keith Hernandez the batter. Off speed, just slipped it in there.
A big curveball.
Ground ball to the right side to Barrett, who plugs up a hole. He has to wait for Buckner because Buckner on those bad wheels took so long to get to the bag. Tuffle advancing to 3rd. And here comes Carter.
Buckner going in to say something to Hurst. It's not a situation where you would walk him intentionally, but it's certainly a situation where you impress upon him, hey, in the meeting we said the pitch we don't want him to hit is, and I would assume that's the fastball. So Strawberry's up next. He's the guy. So let's see what happens.
If you notice the 7 RBIs for Gary Carter, that's the most RBIs for a National League player in the World Series since '82, when Keith Hernandez had 8 RBIs. Off speed, ball 1.
I think if he sees a fastball, then it'll be to push him back or outside. He certainly should not get a fastball he can handle.
Fastball. He didn't get around on it. A little roll to Barrett, and Marty gets him. So he was late on the fastball, and he leaves Tuffle at 3rd. The Mets failed to score in the first inning. Here's how the Red Sox stack up. Wade Boggs leading off at 3rd base. Marty Barrett, who has hit in all 4 series games, at 2nd. Bill Buckner at 1st. Jim Rice in the cleanup spot in left. Don Baylor the DH. Dwight Evans in right field. Rich Gedman behind the plate. Dave Henderson in center field, and Spike Owen at short. On the mound, Dwight Gooden with a record of 17-6. In being careful about him, remember he's coming back on 3 days rest for the first time in his career.
Defensively, Mookie Wilson, who just seemed to have all kinds of fun out there last night. He really enjoyed it. Dykstra in center, Strawberry in right. It's night, Santana, Tuffle, and Hernandez. Carter behind the plate, and Gooden against Wade Boggs, who's been having a little bit of a tough time.
Dwight Gooden, 21 years old, and Davey Johnson said, you have to protect these young arms, but I don't mind pitching him on 3 days rest, because in his previous outing, in 5 innings, he made 90 pitches, so they thought they could bring him back tonight.
You saw him ask the umpire if it was okay to blow into his hands. I'm not for sure he got permission, and Montague, without a jacket, Vin, he must think it's plenty warm out here.
Well, we'll see about Wade Boggs putting on some heat. Ball 1-0. It's nice to have Ted Williams watching with another great hitter at the plate in Wade Boggs. Ted, of course, never had a 200-hit season. Boggs has done it 4 straight years. Right, 1-1.
A high fastball, that's the pitch he has to lay off.
1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled away, 1-2. Little number in front of the plate. Gooden is there, and that takes care of Boggs. That'll bring up Marty Barrett, who has hit in all 4. Boggs going 0 for 5 last night, so he's now 0 for 7 as he goes back into the dugout. Interesting, the flip-flop of Marty Barrett and Wade Boggs during the regular year, and it really benefited both men. However, in the series, Barrett, as you can see, is hitting .412. You know what Boggs is hitting? .167. Ball 1. Ball 2. 2-0.
He has not let up on a pitch yet, just hard fastball, hard curve. If you're wondering about his speed, it's in about the middle 90s. 94 was one that we clocked. Some people said he let up on his fastball to get over for strikes, but I'll tell you something. It's the movement on the ball that was lacking in some of his games.
2-0. Tell you one thing, he looks like he's throwing a little harder than he was the other night at Shea.
He looks looser, and of course he's got such great rhythm. He uses his entire body, pushes off those legs, very fluid in his delivery, and he does that disturbing thing of looking away from the hitter in the middle of his windup. When you throw that hard, that can be a bit scary.
2 balls, 1 strike. There's a breaking ball over for a strike. 2-2.
I would think when he lets up on that curveball, you jump out of your car to hit it because he throws that good curveball so hard. Now watch him when he looks and delivers. He'll take his eye off the target twice in his delivery.
Three and 2, and he went back to the heat. On deck, Bill Buckner. Very high. So Gooden walking Barrett with 1 out. Now he has Buckner and Rice coming up. Buckner, Rice, and Evans have had a tough series hitting with men in scoring position. Buckner right now is just trying to get started, as you can see, hitting under 200.
This is one of the few situations where they could start somebody at first base. Red Sox certainly not known for their speed, but they might start Barrett with Buckner's bad legs.
Ball 1. Barrett led the club in stolen bases with a modest 15, while Buckner was second in the major leagues in grounding into double plays. 1 ball, no strikes. And he's got Barrett. Yep, he picked him off. He was leaning the wrong way, and Gooden shot him down and hung him out to dry, and that'll do it for Marty.
You can see him start to go. And Gooden, who's really worked on his pickoff move, and a quick one and a quick tag, and they get him. They used to say Gooden can't hold anybody on, and the joke always was, well, nobody ever got on. I remember Sandy Koufax talking about him then. He said he has a great ability for keeping runners off base.
1 ball and no strikes to Bill Buckner, who whacks it up the middle for the base hit. So that was a very big pickoff play for Dwight Gooden. So 2 down, a runner at first, and now Jim Rice, the batter. Here's that pickoff.
He about took himself one full step, and Gooden with a good quick throw. They get him.
Now it's Rice. The first time they hooked up against each other, Gooden struck Rice out. Later on during the game, Rice had himself a 3-hit game. Breaking ball for a strike, and you can see Rice kind of give on it, taken all the way. 0-1. I guess everybody in the world knows that Rice is a first ball fastball hitter. Fastball hit behind the mound, kicked at second by Tupple. He should have had the third out. Tim Tupple had plenty of time with a sore-legged Buckner coming down, and he couldn't make the play.
It hits right off the mound. Looks like it's going to get by, but hitting the mound, it slows down, and you can see Tupple a little bit off balance. He had plenty of time. Here comes Buckner now, and that'll be an error.
No. The word is they're giving a hit we get. Let's double check on that. They flashed hit in one place and they put error on the scoreboard. And we will assume it's an error unless we hear otherwise. I mean, he would have had Buckner by plenty. All right, the first big break was the pickoff. The second, the bad play by Tupple, and now let's see. Baylor fouls it away. 0-1.
They're really playing Baylor to pull that ball. Once again, Santana is over in the hole. As you can see, look how close he is to third baseman Knight. Mookie is over near the line. Baylor is strong enough to be able to pull that ball, but I tell you, he's got a real challenge against Gooden if he gets that ball outside and tries to pull it. It could be the ground ball that they're looking for.
Last night, the Sox had the bases loaded in the first inning and failed to score. By the way, they have now taken the error down off the scoreboard, and they are going to give Jim Rice a base hit. And he's hit by the pitch. Don Baylor needs just 16 more if he can stand it, and he will break the all-time record of being hit 243 times by Ron Hunt.
And I love the way he looks at that record. He says, well, it's not the kind of a record that I used to dream about as a youngster. It really drills him, but he's right on top of the plate. You can see that ball boring in, and look at Gary Carter kind of almost ducking it. That fastball just kept coming in.
Well, you talk about opportunity coming around twice last night. Dwight Evans came up with 2 out in the first inning and the bases loaded and hit into a force play. And here he is with the same opportunity tonight. Curveball, 0-1.
Mel Stoudemire felt that Gooden wasn't using his curveball enough as we looked at Davey Johnson and McNamara, but Gooden is certainly using it tonight.
1 ball and no strikes. Buckner at third, Rice at second, Baylor at first, 2 out. And another curve for a strike, 1-1. And as a high fly ball to left, Mookie has a play. And the Sox begin tonight on a sour note as they strand 3. And for Marty Barrett, picked off in the first inning, and that was the killer tonight so far. At the end of an inning, no score. The Red Sox, with 2 singles, a hit batter, and a walk, failed to score because Marty Barrett was picked off first base.
And I'm sure that's what he was talking about to the second base umpire. There it is. You can see he's caught leaning. They had a play on. And Gooden, you have to give him credit, really working on that. That was a weakness of his, but big one in tonight's game so far.
So Darryl Strawberry, Ray Knight, and Kevin Mitchell, and a big roundhouse curveball 1-0. Breaking ball strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. By the way, the official scorers, there are 3 of them for the World Series. Red Foley of the New York Daily News, Dave Nightingale of the Sporting News, Charlie Scoggins of the Lowell, Massachusetts Sun. Ground ball to first. Buckner on his knee will have to feed Hurst coming over. 1 away. Ted had such a magnificent career, and it is so good indeed to see him. I mean, what credentials. Player of the decade in the 50s, Hall of Famer, most valuable player twice, led the league, did everything, and eventually got his name and number in the Red Sox history books forever.
Hit 400 on the last day of the season. And how about that little audio cut we had last day here when he hit the home run and said goodbye.
Here's Ray Knight. Fastball hit to right. Evans has to go back a bit. 2 down.
I don't know if many outfielders would work as hard as Evans. Before the game, he's out there by himself. He's got some kind of a drill with Coach Joe Morgan where he's in center field and Joe Morgan stands on the foul line and hits him line drives and short hops, and he's just doing it and doing it and doing it.
Here's Kevin Mitchell with 2 out in the 2nd inning. The handyman for the Mets all year. Played 6 different positions for them. Batted in just about every spot in the order. Ground ball back a third. Backhanded by Boggs and off the line. Throws him out. Good play. So the Mets are gone in order, and at the end of an inning and a half, no score. When he said goodbye in 1960, Ted Williams was just about 42, and he said goodbye only the way the great ones do, with a home run. It was his 29th home run of the year, the last he would ever hit. Home run number 521. If you never saw him play, you really missed something.
Is there a better name for a guy than Teddy Ballgame?
That's his son, John Henry Williams, sitting just to his right. Okay, Rich Gedman, Dave Henderson, and Spike Owen. And a change, straight change, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball on the hands, a jam job to Santana. Oh, 2 changes and the express on the knuckles and a broken bat.
He really gets that ball inside, and he's got something on it. Look at that kick. Fluid delivery by Gooden.
One away, and Henderson coming up. You might remember that Dwight Gooden is the only Mets pitcher to give up a home run in this series, and he gave up 2 of them to Dave Henderson and to Dwight Evans. Henderson, a fastball hitter, and he challenges him right away. Big numbers for Hendu. Oh, and 1. Check at first, no swing, says Dale Ford. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the 2nd, 1 out, bases empty, no score. Game 5.
Never seen a young pitcher have as good a year as Gooden and have so many people give theories as to why it was bad. And he himself knows when he talks about it, he said, I just pinched it a few times and I tried to overthrow. If I stay myself, I'll be okay.
2-2. It's incredible when you realize all the things he has accomplished, and he is 21 years old. The Rookie of the Year, the youngest pitcher ever to win the Cy Young Award. 21.
You get right down to it. Billy Lowe's was right. You win 24 games. I expect you to do it every year.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball whacked into right center. Base hit. A late break for Strawberry, and he can't pick it up. Dykstra falls down. Henderson for 3. He is in there. Strawberry had no jump on the ball at all, and then when he got there, he missed the ground ball. Dykstra fell down trying to retrieve. It will go as a triple for Dave Henderson. It should have been cut off as a double.
Dykstra just slips and he can't come up with it, and that's about the time that Henderson was at second base, and he shifted into what for him was high gear, and he goes into third base.
Interesting now with Spike Owen at the plate. Keith Hernandez is up, Tim Tuffle is up, Knight is up, and Santana is halfway. So with one out in the second inning, Davy Johnson playing the infield out. Nailed it.
And not that it'll make Gooden feel any better, but the pitch that Henderson hit was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
And dangling in the air is the question. So
if it doesn't move, you'll be backing up third. That's what the answer to that question is.
McNamara, who saw 3 men stranded in the first inning, a runner at third with 1 out in the second. 1-0. Foul back. 1-1 to Spike. Lifted to left field. That should be deep enough. Let's see. Mookie for the catch. Henderson coming to Carter. Too late.
They're going to run on Mookie Wilson's arm. You can see he was back there ready to go, and it's not close at all. Mookie would have a better chance if that ball would land on that grass, but his throw is off the target. Watch where it hits and how it dies. Just boom, like a big cantaloupe.
So 1-0 Red Sox, and the batter is Wade Boggs. Spike Owen, the little guy, picks up the big man from third. Strike. A lack of a play in right center field is cashed in by the Red Sox. Oh, 2 to Wade Boggs. Little roller to Keith Hernandez. Big hop, and he'll underhand it to Gooden. But the mix-up in right center. Strawberry's lack of a jump. Strawberry's inability to come up with the ball. And Lenny Dykstra falling down. It's all cashed in for a Red Sox run. We'll be right back after these messages from your local stations.
Set your sights on the best in baseball. Order the 1986 World Series program. There are more than 100 pages of articles and photographs making the World Series program a real collector's item. Send $6 check or money order to World Series Program, P.O. Box 4686, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. P.O. Box 4686, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. Include your proper return address. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
We go to the third. 1-0 Red Sox. Mookie Wilson, Rafael Santana, and Len Dykstra. Right. So a couple of breaks. The Sox denied because Barrett was picked off in the first inning. And then Strawberry, not seeing that line drive off the bat of Henderson, it goes for a triple instead of a double, and the Sox cash it in on a fly ball. Len Dykstra had a little discussion when they got back to the dugout after the inning. High foul off to the right, out of play. Normally, when you come to a ball game, you're sitting in the stands and you see the ball hit. If you look and the outfielder is just starting to move, he didn't have a jump. Well, when Henderson hit the ball and we looked at Strawberry, he was dead in his tracks. He wasn't moving at all.
Of course, the misnomer, too, is the crack of the bat. You have to move before you hear the crack of the bat, or you've got a late jump.
And how? Because the speed of light is a lot quicker than the speed of sound. Right. So Mookie muttering to himself. That's strikeout number 1 for Bruce Hurst, and Rafael Santana coming up. On deck, the leadoff man, Len Dykstra. And now the plate umpire, Ed Montague, is telling Tim Tuffle to leave the on-deck area. Remember last night we were talking about they could take a team picture in the batting circle. Not anymore. They've just sent Tuffle back to the dugout. On the corner, 2-1.
Keith Hernandez was telling me they did that in the championship series during the playoffs, but they've been doing it all in the World Series. Nobody said a word.
And they do it all year. Fastball, and he's behind now, 3-1. Comes as kind of a shock. You don't think about it. This is the first time the home team has been ahead in the World Series, having the lead. So the walk to the number 9 hitters, Santana and Len Dykstra, who grounded out in the first inning, coming up. And Buckner wants another meeting with Hurst.
Well, the Mets certainly can manufacture runs. That's what they did all year long. They're not waiting for the 3-run homer, especially with guys like Dykstra in the batter's box and Santana on base. So Hurst has a good move. Now Buckner wants Gedman to come in on the conversation. Barrett is going to come in. They're going to set up a defense, obviously.
By the way, Santana did not have a stolen base nor an attempt this year.
With Dykstra up there, he can do so many things, Ben. I think the threat of the bunt is the big thing. He's already pulled Boggs in. Now, if Buckner breaks in, he breaks up the whole infield, and that's the important thing.
And he's going over.
What he does with the good move, he'll hang you with that front leg. He'll get up midair and almost like a stork, he'll stand on the one leg and make you almost commit yourself. Hurst has a good move. Johnson calls it a balk move.
Breaking ball sends him scrambling in the dirt. Ball 1. Hurst's picked off 4 men this year, 11 last year, and 15 the year before that. Missed again. So working carefully to Santana, he walked him, and now he's behind to Dykstra. 2 balls and no strikes.
That's as good a big league pitch as you want to see. You got a little guy like Dykstra up there who at 5'8" maybe on his toes, and he throws in that big breaking curveball. And you talk about throwing something beside a fastball when you're behind. There's a major league pitch right there.
2-1. Fastball, a little dunker to center. Henderson coming up. It's going to land. Stopping at second is Santana, and the Mets are in business. First and second, 1 out, and Tim Tuffle coming up on a little flare to center by Lenny Dykstra.
Dykstra gets a piece of the ball. He puts it in play. And I mean, some of them are beauties like the home runs, and then you get one like that. But when you put the bat on the ball, anything can happen.
Tim Tuffle with a couple of hits against Hurst the first time around, and then a double in the first inning. Fastball and a high fly ball down the left field line, but remember the wind. It'll cut it down, and Rice has a play.
Tell you though, Vin, he had that wall ball cut on that one. He was not fooled. He got under it.
So a lazy fly ball to left as the legs cut out from under it, and now Keith Hernandez.
Here's the swing. You can see he gets right into it. He just got under it. And with that wind blowing, there's no way it's going to be even close.
Hernandez grounded to second in the first inning. The first inning was very busy for Marty Barrett. He handled all 3. So Keith 0 for 1. Santana at second, Dykstra at first, 2 out in the third, 1-0 Sox. Fastball, and that's a fly ball to left, and Rice will have a play. And Hurst is out of the jam. The Mets lead 2 on a walk and a base hit, and at the end of 2 1/2, 1-0 Boston. We're going to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Boston. Marty Barrett, Bill Buckner, and Jim Rice. This is an indication of the kind of a shot we can get. There's a camera on top of the roof down the left field line. And just to show you the perspective first of the camera towards home, we also have a cameraman high up on the left field wall. As we try to cover this thing like a blanket.
We had George Loomis inside the scoreboard. We have more guys on this wall than the Red Sox.
Big bouncer over the mound, Tupple to his right, and throws back to get him. So Barrett grounding out, 1 away, and the batter will be Bill Buckner.
First pitch, that's kind of rare for Marty Barrett. He usually takes a few pitches. Works that count to 3-2, hits the first one, and you could see Tupple brace himself so he could get extra on the throw.
Bill Buckner single to center in the first inning.
Oh, Buck's got to visit with everybody.
Oh, yes. Oh, now.
I used to like that when they did that, but what used to bug me is they start a conversation and finish it when they crossed home plate. Now, that's not very nice.
Check swing on a high change and a ground ball that's kicked at shortstop. Buckner no threat to advance. So Buckner was fooled, checked his swing, and still reaches. And that will be a boot and an error charge to Santana.
It looked like he just let the ball play him, and it just ate him up. It wasn't hit that hard, and that's really a rare thing to see Santana just miss a ball that's really that easy.
So a runner at first with 1 out, and Jim Rice the batter. You remember Rice hit the ball up the middle, and Tupple should have made a play to get a force on Buckner, but he couldn't handle it, and Rice was given a single. And after Rice comes Baylor. He overthrew that pitch, and Carter just said, easy, easy, just gestured to him.
Well, that's one of the things that he himself realizes, that if I just stay within myself, is the expression he uses, but he kind of jumps at the batter Rice, and you could see Carter just, hey, settle down. You don't have to throw that hard. When you do that, you squeeze the ball, and it's just not fluid.
1-0 to Jim. They're not holding Buckner. They're not expecting him to do any kind of running. In there. Again, Rice kind of bailing out on the breaking ball. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike.
He starts that curveball right at him and just snaps right in there.
Red Sox 1 run, 3 hits. Mets no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. And you can see Hernandez dropping back off Buckner. Missed ball 2.
And he still got him bailing out. You remember it was Rice who said in spring training facing Gooden, he said it was 1 foul tip, 3 more pitches, and then grab some bench.
Ball 3. Off speed. Now actually he made a good off-speed pitch to Buckner, but the error hurt him. And now he's in trouble against a fastball hitter, 3-1, and he has Baylor on deck.
This will tell you something about what Gooden and Carter are thinking, because is he going to go strength against strength, or will he stay with that curveball? He has been getting it over pretty consistently.
3-1. Fastball, and he walked him.
And he overthrew it.
So Gooden has walked 2, hit a batter. He's had an error back of him.
Now he is just not fluid when he overthrows it. I mean, 94 is the speed, but he comes right into you. You can see he let that ball go high. Look where he fell when he finished up there. That's not like him.
So Jim Rice goes to first. Buckner, aboard on the error, moves up a notch to second. And with 1 out, Don Baylor, who was hit by a pitch in the first inning, coming up.
Baylor's right on top of that plate. Tough man to pitch inside to.
One thing goes with the other. He doesn't like the ball inside, so he stands over the plate, so he gets hit by the pitch. Breaking ball, 0-1.
They're swung way around for Baylor, as they have been the whole series, and with Buckner at second base, you look at the defense. Look how far Tupple is. Hernandez wide, protecting the hole. Be a tough trip for Buckner to score on a single.
down to Baylor. Couple kind of bird dogging at the bag. And another breaking ball. So 2 curveballs to Baylor. The count 0-2 and time for a little conference.
Well, he did that the last time, and I kind of believe that Gary is saying, hey, if you throw the fastball, maybe we should get it outside. What is he going to do? Where does he want to spot that fastball, if indeed he's going to throw it, or does he want to stay with that curveball? That's what Baylor's looking at. You can see him turn that ball over. Look at that rotation on that ball.
Well, after a couple of good curveballs, would you stay with the curve?
I would, yes, with him. But then again, let's see what Carter does. I know one thing. I don't think I'd go that inside with a chance of hitting him.
0-2. Breaking ball got him swinging. So he got 3 curveballs to take care of Baylor. First strike.
After seeing that, you got to believe that Gary went out there, Vin, and said, hey, look, let's not fool around with that fastball. Let's go out and get him right now. What's the difference if it's 2 strikes and no ball? Still that curveball. We're going to try to make him hit the curveball anyhow. Let's try to get him now. And they did.
So 2 down, runners at first and second, and here is Dwight Evans, who flied to left in the first inning. Rice at first, Buckner at second. And he starts him with a breaking ball, so that means he's thrown 4 curves in a row.
Well, we mentioned it earlier. Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, he thinks that he should be throwing a lot more curveballs. And by golly, he is tonight, and so far he's been pretty effective.
0-1. Should be enough to get Buckner, but he's going to have to hurry. The throw is way offline.
He is really trying hard. He digs. They look like they've got a chance to get him, and when he gets near home plate, watch what he does. He gives it everything. Not even close, but head first slide. And I tell you, he laid there for looked like a minute.
Oh, it's interesting. The first fastball he threw after 4 consecutive curves, and the Sox ring him up with a base hit to Dykstra. Remember, that's an unearned run because Buckner reached on the error by Santana. The inning should be over. Instead, it's 2-0 Boston, and they're looking for more with Gedman. Fastball, ball 1. So really, Gooden is very unlucky. Strawberry should have made a better play in the second inning, and the Sox shouldn't have scored. And they would not have scored in the third if Santana fields a ground ball. But luck or no, the Red Sox 2 and the Mets nothing. 1-0. Fastball fouled away upstairs.
If you've ever had a leg injury, just watch this picture and you can identify with it.
So Billy Bucks gets the job done. Talking to Dave Stapleton about his circuitous route to home. The red badge of courage on his chest, and it's 2-0 Boston.
Boy, he looks like a guy that would make the All-Star team with the MASH unit.
Gedman popped to short in the second inning. Remember, he was jammed. Here's Rice at second, Evans at first, 2 out, and a run in. Fastball on the hands, fly ball to Dykstra. So the Sox get 1, leave 2, and on the scoreboard, Rafael Santana's error. And of course, that was the key to the inning. Just a routine ground ball that hit him on the left wrist and got away to start the inning. 2-0 Sox at the end of 3. Fastball, line drive, base hit, and that should be enough to get Buckner, but he's going to have to hurry. The throw is way offline.
This is the first inning. 20 pitches to Rice, Evans, Rice, Baylor, and Evans. Curveballs. 14 of the 20 were curveballs, and there you see to Baylor and now to Evans. All breaking balls. And then he got He got Baylor with the 2 strikes with the curveball.
2-0 Boston in the 4th inning. Carter, Strawberry, and Knight. Carter grounded out in the 1st inning to make the last out and leave Tuffle at 3rd. Fastball. He didn't have much of a swing at all on the fastball in the 1st inning. It was down and away. It was a very tentative prod, and he just kind of rolled it over to Marty Barrett. Changed and got it on the outside corner. Good pitch.
That's the spot that they want to hit. Even last night with Nipper, John was a bit upset that they gave him such a good fastball to hit. He'll try to pull everything, Gary will, Carter. And watch where he lays this one. Hurst lays it right on an outside corner. I tell you, that's tough to hit.
And at the knees, strike 3 call. He had to be guessing to take that fastball.
He's looking for something he didn't get. That's what Carter's looking at. Look at the way Hurst just kind of keeps his eye on that target. Fastball. Boy, he gets that left leg up high, doesn't he?
And leaves it there a while.
Yeah, line drive will pick him off.
It might be how he suffered that groin injury back in May, the way he twists that torso. All right, here's Strawberry, grounded out in the 2nd inning. Fastball for a strike. Strawberry rolled to Buckner in the 2nd inning, and again the right side of the infield very deep. On the corner. So Hurst now is really in rhythm. Everything he's throwing is right on the edge, and he's mixing them up.
You can almost put that to music. Get the ball and throw. Get the ball and throw. And when you're rolling, you really feel that.
Big curve hit to the right of Barrett and into center field for a base hit. So Strawberry gets a slow curve with 1 out and bangs it up the middle, and that'll bring up Ray Knight. So that means Strawberry, who had been in a terrific slump, has 3 hits in his last 5 at-bats. Roller foul outside of 3rd, trickling over to the Mets dugout, and the count 0-1. And the ubiquitous Ron Darling is there to grab it.
They just got some votes for the All-Star game.
Sure. There's a line drive that's short hopped by Boggs, and they get the double play. 5-4-3 as he short hopped the sinking line drive.
And good call by Jim Evans.
No run, 1 hit, nobody left. And at the end of 3 1/2, the Red Sox 2 and the Mets nothing.
Here's that double play once again. See, Evans calls it safe, and Strawberry was really hung up. He thought the ball was going to be caught, so he's out of the play either way. When he trapped the ball, he's in no man's land. They catch the ball, he's in no man's land.
2-0 Red Sox. As we go to the 4th inning, Dave Henderson, who had that questionable triple in the 2nd inning when the ball got between Strawberry under his glove, and then Dykstra fell down, and he was cashed in on 0 fly ball. Breeze blowing out to right, and you get the feeling the temperature is dropping considerably. We had a light rain shower, but it's getting cool now. Good change. 1-1.
Looks like Henderson wanted to pull the trigger, and his body wouldn't let him. He's got so much of that body, it's hard to get them all together.
He's given Henderson everything he has. A great straight change, and now the curveball, and the count 1-2. And a half swing, and he's done. Strikeout number 2 for Gooden. 1 out in the 4th, and Spike Owen coming up.
When you watch a pitcher blowing his hands, if you're wondering what he's trying to do, he's trying to get some moisture, because that ball, when it gets cool, chilly like it is tonight, it's really slick, and sometimes you just can't get the feel of the seams, and it just slips. It's as simple as all that.
Spike Owen, in a big role in the 2nd inning, fulfilled it by lifting the fly ball to left deep enough to get Henderson home. He takes a strike. Dwight Gooden was the 5th man in the 1982 draft. A lot has been made of that because of the men drafted in front of him. Well, the man drafted right after him was Spike Owen. He was the number 6 man. There's the list. Augie Schmidt, a shortstop. Jimmy Jones, a pitcher. Brian Oakers, a pitcher. Then Gooden, some kind of pitcher. Then Spike Owen. That was some draft and some selection. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now back. Fastball. That's all for Spike. However, for Gooden, that strikeout comes at the wrong time. He couldn't get Spike when the runner was at third. 3 strikeouts for Gooden, and the batter now is Wade Boggs. Boggs hit back to Gooden and grounded out to Hernandez. 0 for 2. And of course, you're looking at the Major League's leading hitter. 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 5 last night, and he is now 0 for his last 8 at bats. And there's a base hit. So Boggs breaks the string with a solid single up the middle, and with 2 out, the batter will be Marty Barrett. Barrett walked in the first inning, grounded out in the third.
And Hernandez already is talking to Tuffle to move on over some more. He is directing it. He is the general. He sets the defense. He's looking to see where Tuffle is. He wants him to move over because Barrett hits this way, and he's going to have to hold Wade Boggs on. He's still not happy. He wants him to come over some more, and Tuffle says, I am.
Ball 1. We were talking before about the Mets' lack of defense, and that has hurt Gooden. And of course, Barrett in the first inning, if he had not been picked off, the Sox would have scored. Santana, of course, his error contributing in the third inning. The pickoff of Barrett stifled the Red Sox in the first inning. 1 ball, no strike. Fastball hit by the mound behind second by Tuffle and Santana, and on his way to third, Boggs is in there. For Marty Barrett, he moves Boggs over to third, and this is a big moment for Marty Barrett.
You can see him draw his arms in, hit it up the middle. He just does get by both Santana and Tuffle, and Boggs really made a good base running play. Once it got by second base, he hit it for third pretty much on his own.
For Marty Barrett, his 19th hit in the postseason, tying Thurman Munson's record back in 1978. So Barrett, a solid ball player as Boggs takes off and hits the runway.
Did you see him look at the outfield when he was rounding second base? On a play like that, the play's in front of you, you make up your own mind, and he did.
So 2 strikeouts and then 2 singles up the middle. And here's Buckner, who was singled and was aboard on the error by Santana. Ball 1. 2-0 Boston, trying to open it some more. Lined and grabbed by Hernandez, short hopped it, and Keith brought it to the bag. We had to look at Dale Ford to make sure that ball was in play. So Gooden is out of the trouble at the end of 4, Boston 2, and the Mets nothing. And a good play by Keith Hernandez. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Well, that's baseball, and it's my game. You know, you take your worries to the park and you leave them there. You yell like crazy for your guys. Good for your lungs. The hot dog of the game beats roast beef at the Ritz. See your own national game beautifully played. Let's all go out to the ball game as often as we can get away next season. For my dough, that's living.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Kevin Mitchell, followed by Mookie Wilson and then Rafael Santana. Top of the 5th inning, 2-0 Boston. Hit off the end of the bat, a dunker to right for a base hit for Mitchell. Kevin way out in front of it and cued it into right field.
Then we were talking about the pitches made by Gooden, 82, and in 4 innings, Hurst with that one has made 64. So it shows you quite a difference.
Big difference. And a difference on the scoreboard. 2-0 Boston as Mookie Wilson comes up. Mookie struck out in the 3rd inning. There are 2 men again out of the Mets dugout in the area of the on-deck circle. You have Santana, the next hitter, and Len Dykstra. Remember, they sent Tuffle back earlier in the 3rd. That's hit to the hole, base hit to right field. Mitchell a look at second. He will hold. They know that Evans has the best arm in the outfield. So the tying runs are aboard with nobody out. Santana and Dykstra coming up.
Santana, he's walking right towards Buddy Harrelson. He's where they hit Fungo's looking right at him.
One of the oldest expressions in baseball, you play to win on the road and you play to tie at home, meaning on the road you would have your hitter hitting in this spot, and at home you'd have him playing sacrifice to get the runners in scoring position to tie it up. However, you throw that book out the window, especially in the World Series.
I would look for bunt all the way there.
Santana, by the way, has only sacrificed once this year.
Look at Buckner.
He needs a head start, and the bunt fouled away. And Gedman kind of stepped on Santana. He did. Rich Gedman whirled around and caught Santana a little bit on the foot, the right foot.
Instinctively behind the plate, when that ball hits that bat, you break forward, and he'll kind of move forward. And
watch now, right.
He's looking for the ball.
Ouch, right there. Got it.
He didn't break at all. He's looking for the ball and stepped right on his foot.
0-1 to count to Raphael. The bunt up along 3rd. Good bunt. Barehanded by Boggs to Barrett in time. So he lays down a dandy, and the tying runs are at 2nd and 3rd with Lenny Dykstra coming up.
That was almost a base hit. I'm telling you, that was a great bunt. He gets it past the pitcher, and Wade Boggs has to barehand that ball, and it's a tremendous play by Boggs to get Santana. That was a beautiful bunt.
So 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, and Len Dykstra the batter, and it's hand blowing time for Bruce Hurst. Started him with a big curveball that stayed up. Ball 1. And that's a big rainbow. Dykstra gesturing he thought it was high, and Ed Montague gestures back to him that it dipped into the zone. 1-1.
It's a big breaking curveball. Now Dykstra's not sure of it, and he turns and he'll ask about it. I thought that ball was high. Was it high? No, says Montague.
1-1. Fastball, and he fouled it away. And Dykstra thought he had his pitch. He was looking fastball and angrily kicked to the dirt. Well, the runner's holding at 2nd and 3rd, 1 and 2. Outside of plain missing it, I guess to get the ball you're looking for and fouling it off is just as frustrating.
For the good hitter it is. Of course, a kid like Dykstra, he's almost like Burleson, you know, bearing down. I mean, when he doesn't do what he thinks he should do, he's mad at himself.
1 and 2 to Lenny. Fastball got him, and he went in for a borderline pitch.
A high fastball. The curveball was a call strike, and he went after the high fastball. He battled it, and the fans are really giving it to him, but he's reacting like the professional that he is.
Well, a borderline fastball somewhere up around the letter.
Look at that expression on his face. He saw it all the way. He just didn't get it. Hurst was much better.
And he also tried to uppercut it, I guess thinking about trying to at least hit a fly ball, and did he ever come up empty. So with 2 down in 2nd and 3rd, Tim Tuffle doubled to right center, flied to left. He has 3 hits against Hurst in the series.
You measure a pitcher by what does he do with the man at 3rd base and less than 2 outs. And Hurst just gave you a pretty good answer.
Gedman, the man he replaced, has to stay in the dugout and hang in there.
You see what he's doing? Keeping his hands warm in case he has to play.
0-1. Slow curve. Strike 2.
You know, Vin, there are statistics that tell you a story like quality starts and the rest of them run average. But when you see a guy do what this guy's doing right now, here's a slow curveball, and you'll see the rotation of it drop right in for a strike.
And listen to this crowd now. Wide at third. Boggs has it. He's out of the jam. The Mets leave runners at second and third, and it remains 2-0 Boston. Fenway Park, bottom of the 5th inning. We're honored with the presence of the Secretary of State, George Shultz, taking in tonight's game. Jim Rice, Don Baylor, and Dwight Evans coming up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Rice an infield single and walk, 1 for 1. That was a fairly lengthy top of the 5th inning. So you wonder about Gooden stiffening up in the cool of the evening. Rice, meanwhile, waiting to get his licks in, leading off. Gooden behind 2-0.
Good Jim Rice now. He missed with 2 fastballs. What would you be sitting on?
Well, he was very effective with the curveballs to Baylor.
Well, if he throws him a curveball, I got to believe he'll take it for a strike.
2-0. Fastball, and he went after it. He couldn't lay off it. He's out of the strike zone, and the count 2-1.
He had made up his mind that he was going to go on a fastball, and it was a high. You can see it now. Look at him bear down and watch those eyes open up. That high fastball, tough to lay off of, and he knew it. Look at that. It was painful.
And that's it late and foul down the right field line, out of play. I was just thinking at that look of anguish on the face of Jim Rice, and out in center field, Lenny Dykstra standing there saying, "Yeah, tell me about it." Remember that high fastball he swung out and missed, leaving runners at second and third. Two and 2. Curveball hit in the air, and Dykstra on his horse, and the wind is blowing it in off against the bullpen. Rice is on his way to third, and Strawberry's throw not in time. A wind-blown triple that was almost a home run.
You could really see it tail off to the right, almost like in golf it would be a slice. It's a high towering drive. The wind gets it. It would be drifting away anyhow, but the wind really takes it away from Dykstra, and it's just a foot or so from a home run. You see it hit the top, and almost the frustration in that bullpen. And Strawberry, by the time he gets up with a 3-base hit, and now Hernandez is playing him, but everybody else is back.
Baylor, Evans, and Gedman trying to pick him up. 2-0 Boston in the 5th inning. In the dirt, a good save by Carter.
It was very close to a home run, and you can see how close. Look at that. Oh. It's another one of those angles, Vin, in this ballpark. You just don't know which way it's going to come back.
It's like being inside a pinball machine.
Exactly.
1 ball and no strikes to Don Baylor, hit by a pitch in the 1st inning and struck out in the 3rd.
It's been curveballs that Gooden has been using to get Baylor.
And that's looped into right field, base hit, and the run.
Tried to jam him with the fastball.
dugout. And Baylor standing at first, a modest thing and thine own. A bloop single to right for the RBI.
He's giving a needle to Baylor because he got jammed on that pitch. He just fisted it over there. That's what he's doing. He's sticking a needle in Baylor.
3-0 Boston on 8 hits. And the batter is Dwight Evans, fly to left, single to center. And the bunt foul, 0-1.
Playing so deep, Knight is back, and Hernandez way wide of first base. Rice is really having some fun with Baylor, because Gooden did throw a good fastball. He did jam him, but as strong as he is, he's right on top of that plate, and he just plunked one into right field.
So a long windbone triple by Jim Rice, a bloop single to right by Baylor, and the Sox pick up another. And Sid Fernandez, the left-hander throwing in the Mets bullpen. Curveball hit to left, deep and foul. With that wind blowing, any ball hitting that corner has a chance to wind up fair. But Dewey pulled it too much. Remember the ball that Rice hit that was wind blown off the wall in front of the Red Sox bullpen.
If Dewey Evans was paying for this commercial prime time, he would be costing him a fortune. He's been up there over 6 minutes.
Somebody's happy about that foul ball. 2-2 to Dwight. And he throws high for ball 3. Gooden has 3 strikeouts. That's all. Struck out Baylor on curveballs. Struck out Henderson on a curveball. Struck out Owen on a fastball. But he is not blowing nearly as hard now as he was the first couple of innings.
The gun shows that his fastball velocity's gone down, and that was a high curveball. That is really danger.
3-2. So Baylor with Hernandez on the bag now for the first time. Baylor going, and a ground ball to the hole. Base hit into left field, and Baylor on his way to third, and Mookie throws it back into second. And still nobody out. Sid Fernandez, and I'll tell you what, you've got to figure the Mets are in a lot of trouble. They are trailing 3-0 in the 5th. Johnson is bringing in a man he did not want to use at Fenway Park, Sid Fernandez, and Game 6 they go against Roger Clemens.
And the scouting report is to run on the Met outfielders, Wilson, Dykstra, and Strawberry, and you saw Baylor do that.
So Dwight Gooden, for the second time in the series, leaves, and we'll be back. Baseball historians will look at tonight's game, and they will see that Dwight Gooden gave up at least 3 runs and 9 hits. But if he looks at the small print, the historian will also see Tuffle's inability to make a play in the first inning that he should have made. Strawberry's inability to hold Henderson to a double, and he didn't do it. And Santana's error on Buckner's ball. All plays contributing to Gooden's troubles. It made him work harder than he should have had to work, and his needle hit empty here in the 5th inning. So Gooden is gone, and Sid Fernandez coming in. Fernandez in the Gooden game in New York did not retire a batter and gave up 3 hits. Gedman popped to short, fly to center. You have Evans at first, Baylor at third. A run in the bank, 3-0 Boston. Sidearm him with a fastball, 0-2. Gedman can't do it. He strikes out, and the batter now will be Henderson.
Fernandez can get his strikeouts. Very deceptive. His fastball a little bit quicker than it really appears, and he just went to work on 3 pitches and he gets Getman. And that's what he had to do to set up the double play. He's got a double play man up there if he can get the ground ball. That's obviously what he's thinking.
Henderson had a key shot up the alley in right center. Strawberry a late jump and then couldn't cut it off. And Dave then scored on the fly ball by On. Last time up, he struck out on curveballs. He's a fastball hitter, so let's see what Sid Fernandez does with him. 3-0 Boston, trying for more in the 5th inning. A shot by the inside of Ray Knight and in the corner. Baylor scores. Evans to third. Into second goes Henderson. 4-0 Boston. Charged to Fernandez. The run is charged to Gooden. That's 4, and Rice is still on Baylor's case. He's over that broken bat single.
He's saying, a big guy like you hit that little flare.
Baylor's probably saying, hey, it ain't fishing. You don't throw the little ones back.
That's right. But you see, he's the judge, and when they have that kangaroo court, Baylor is, and the man who has to carry out the fines is Rice. So you're going to pay him if Baylor says so, and Rice makes sure.
Well, the infield is up, and here's Spike on. Second and third. 1 out. 4-0 Boston. Trying to break it open. Ball 1.
They are really in tight. They're in 2 steps on the grass.
Owen hitting right-handed. When he was batting left-handed against Gooden, that's when he got that fly ball in the RBI.
Looks like a softball defense.
1-0. In there. So the Sox, who were struggling with the bat, they had 2 runs and 7 hits last night, 1 run and 5 hits the night before, have come back tonight with 4 runs and 10 hits, including 2 triples and a double. And it's punched. A one-hopper smothered by Tuffle, fakes to the plate and then goes to Hernandez. Good play.
Ball was in tight and really handcuffed him, and Tuffle made a fine play. See how close they are. He was just trying to get a piece of it. Owen was, and look what Tuffle's diving stop. Good play.
Now you have first base open, and Wade Boggs, the batter. Boggs hit back to the box, grounded out, and then singled up the middle in the 4th inning. Ball 1. Marty Barrett on deck. High fly ball into left field. Mookie Wilson says he has it, and the Sox get 2 and leave 2 on 2 singles, a double and a triple, and a big play by Tuffle. At the end of 5, 4-0 Boston, and Hurst goes back to work. Well, 2 thoughts: the number of pitches and how long he sat in the dugout. We'll see if it has any effect on him. Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, and Darryl Strawberry, top of the 6th inning. The Red Sox 4 and the Mets nothing. Hernandez grounded out with a runner at second and flied to left with runners at first and second. Ball 1, missing with the curve. The wind is blowing from left center straight across to the right field foul line, at least for the moment. Ball 2.
Tell you, he showed me something coming out on the very first pitch with the 4-run lead, trying to get the curveball over. He's going to have to almost try to find the pitches that he had when he was going so well.
2-0. On the corner, 2-1. And there's a one-hopper right at Spike on. 1 away. So Hernandez out, and the batter Gary Carter. One-hopper flagged by Spike. Carter grounded out and struck out.
You would think it was a base hit, but that's what scouts are for. They position you And if the pitcher can make you hit that way, you get an easy play from a ball that appeared to be a base hit when it started out.
1 away. Ball 1. In Hurst's game against the Mets, he went 8 innings, and then Calvin Schiraldi pitched the 9th. So he blanked the Mets for 8 innings in New York, and he has them by the neck for 5 innings tonight. So that's 13 consecutive scoreless innings for Bruce against the Mets.
And Gary Carter really chased a bad ball. He's backed out of the batter's box way out there, regrouping, because he knows what he did. He was ahead, 1 ball, no strikes, and he just chased a real bad ball. They've been pitching him outside, the outside part of the plate, off-speed pitches, the fastball. They try to keep it way out there.
People in New York remember that Carter finished the year with a team-high 13-game hitting streak. Ground ball wide at third, didn't come up, but Bonds went down to get it and throws him out. That's a fine play, because you're expecting the ball to come up, and he went right down and picked it.
But he's got that glove. Watch that glove. Now, he roams far to his left. That ball, you would think it would bounce up, but look where that glove is, right down there. And I tell you, he works out, and it's nothing new in the World Series, and he goes out there and works out before everybody else. He's been doing that all year long, and he's made himself a pretty good fielder, and he's really shown it in this World Series.
Fine play by Wade Boggs. 2 out in the 6th. Darryl Strawberry grounded out and singled 1 for 2. Fastball on the outside corner. So Hurst still has that control.
He threw the last time 2 fastballs, got 2 quick strikes, and threw a curveball. Let's see what he does.
Fastball, and it's fouled away. The only walk that Hurst has given up tonight thus far, he gave to Rafael Santana, the number 9 hitter. Got him. And Bruce Hurst can go back and sit down again and hope it takes a while before he has to pitch.
That's the reaction, if you can read lips.
I can read it. He was saying Chaucer.
Yes.
And Montague said Rabelais. And then Strawberry said Balzac.
I tell you. Never mind.
Marty Barrett, 1 ball and no strikes. That's an old line from the Music Man that came to my head. 4-0 Red Sox in the 6th. Hey, they'd appreciate that up here around Harvard.
Now he starts to get a little bit excited. Look at Hernandez come running in to get the youngster out of there. Bill Robinson can't move him, but Hernandez gets him out of there. It's just total frustration.
2-0 to Marty. Walk, grounded out and singled. There's a look at ball 3.
That's why it was so rare to see him hit the first pitch, because he's always working pitchers, and that's what you want the guys like Marty Barrett to do. Make them work.
High pop fly around the coming in is Keith Hernandez, because the wind is going to almost bring it to him. 1 away. Looking ahead, when the Mets come up in the 7th, they'll have Ray Knight, Kevin Mitchell, and Mookie Wilson. But meanwhile, Buckner and Rice have to hit here in the 6th. Buckner singled in the 1st inning, was aboard on a big error by Rafael Santana, and eventually scored on a single by Dwight Evans, and grounded out in the 4th inning with runners at 1st and 3rd, and 2 out. Drive to left, going back on the ball is Mookie in front of the scoreboard to make the play. 2 down. Once again, friends, we remind you we'll be selecting the NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game at the conclusion of this ballgame. Well, here's Rice. Infield single in the 1st inning, walked in the 3rd, a wind-blown triple that was almost a home run into the Sox bullpen in the 5th. 4-0 Boston, bottom of the 6th, 2 out. John McNamara, still a ways to go. Johnson hoping he can catch up. Big, slow curveball for a strike.
That was a beauty.
That took a while to get up there.
Oh, if that wind would have started blowing, I think might have blown it back.
0-2. Fastball got him. So Rice goes down on strikes. Sox are done in the 6th. It's 4-0 Boston. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
It's a ballpark steeped in tradition, a Boston landmark. Generations of New Englanders have grown up with the Red Sox and Fenway Park. Nowhere has America's pastime been more alive than at Fenway Park. From the bleachers to the grandstands, from the Green Monster to home plate, Fenway Park is known throughout the country as the greatest place to see a ball game. And every classic stage has its great players. Ted Williams, Yaz, and the Red Sox tradition at Fenway continues. The most respected outfield in baseball, Rice, Armas, and Evans. The precise hitting skills of Wade Boggs and Bill Buckner. And the young pitching staff featuring the exciting Oil Can Boyd. Head to Fenway Park to see the Red Sox this season. The fun and excitement is being there. Visit the Red Sox ticket office at 4 Yawkey Way or charge tickets to most major credit cards by calling 267-1700.
7th inning, Boston 4 runs, 10 hits. The Mets no runs, 5 hits. They've been mesmerized by Bruce Hurst for the 2nd time. He has a string of 14 consecutive scoreless innings against them, and he set sails in the 7th. Ball 1 to Ray Knight. And Knight flied to right, hit into a double play.
Then with that pitch, 27 of his last 33 pitches have been for strikes.
1-0. Fastball and Knight late, but it's going to be a tough play for Buckner especially, and the ball lands fair. Picked up by Barrett and holding on. Good play by Ray Knight. As soon as Barrett one-handed the hopper, he held on. And Gedman was right there at the bag to draw a throw.
Watch Buckner give it a good effort. He's not going to get it, and Ray Knight thinks he might have a double, but when he sees Marty Barrett come up with the ball, he stops. And as you pointed out, Gedman's down the line, and that's how you get that put out, Vin, at first base. Look at Gedman sneaking behind the runner.
The heads-up play by Getty just in case. But also Bill Robinson, I think, would have almost blocked and tackled Ray Knight if he tried to go on to second. He came right to the bag to make sure he would stop. All right, Kevin Mitchell, robbed of a hit by Boggs and single to right in the 5th inning and drills one into the left field corner, hooking foul. Way to go. So back to first goes Knight. You might remember in the 5th inning it was Mitchell who led off with the single to right. Then Wilson singled and Santana sacrificed, and the Mets trailing only 2-0 had the tying runs at 2nd and 3rd. And maybe the biggest pitch of the night, a borderline fastball, and Dykstra swung and missed for strike 3. Tuffle grounded out, and that was that.
They got him.
Got him, and Buckner dropped the ball. They had him dead to rights.
He was walking off the bag, and kind of like a walk in the park, and Hurst just nonchalantly flipped it over there. What a move he puts on. Look at Knight. Now there it is. That's a pretty good move. Knight doesn't expect it at all. Hands on hips, and whoops, looky here.
So it is still 4-0 Boston, and the Mets trying to regroup in the 7th inning. Mitchell followed by Wilson. So he still has plenty left in the tank here in the 7th inning.
You know, the odd thing about that pickoff too, Vin, is Buckner's playing behind Knight. He just kind of walked in there like they were visiting.
They were both walking.
Yeah. Never trust another ball player.
Especially Buckner, who's probably telling him a story at the same time. Ball 1. 1-2 to Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell mutters to himself.
He really placed that in a tremendous spot, right in on the kneecap, low inside. Watch where it is. If he hits it, he beats it right into the ground.
5 strikeouts for Bruce Hurst and the batter Mookie Wilson. He struck out in the 3rd inning, singled to right in the 5th, 1 for 2, and Kevin Mitchell sadder but wiser in the dugout. Fastball and a towering wind-blown fly ball that'll wind up in Evans' territory and in his glove.
Look at he surrounded that ball, that crosswind. You could see he had a little bit of problem with it. It's swirling.
Well, they brought it to him, so with 2 down, the batter will be Rafael Santana. And Bruce Hurst with the ball game firmly in his grasp here in the 7th inning, leading 4-0 and showing no signs of letting up. Santana walked and sacrificed. That's the closest the Mets have been to the game in the 5th inning. 2nd and 3rd trailing 2-0. Now it's 4-0. And that's a wind-blown fly ball. Barrett calling. That's it. So Ray Knight opens up with a single and they leave him. And at the end of 6 1/2, Sox 4, Mets nothing.
Santana had just bunted men over the 2nd and 3rd. Here is the 5th inning. Dykstra against Hurst. Curveball is high. Curveball. It's a strike. Fastball is fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball high and in, and he gets him. What a piece of pitching.
And that's the closest the Mets have been tonight. Slow curveball to Baylor for a strike. 0-1. Baylor hit by a pitch in the 1st inning, struck out in the 3rd, and then a broken bat single to right to cash in Jim Rice in the 5th. Slow curve. 1-1. In all 3 of his plate appearances tonight, Baylor has come up with runners in scoring positions, which indeed is an ideal situation for the DH. 1-1. Fastball.
Now we go to New York, and he becomes, as you call him, the designated sitter.
Yep. And the specter of Roger Clemens looms larger and larger as the outs go by here in Fenway. 1-2. Change hit down the line. Out of here.
And that was McNamara's master plan. If there was going to be that big game, he wanted his big guy.
That's right. They second-guessed John in some quarters, saying he should have tried to really get ahead instead of risking being tied. But as usual, very calm and easy. He said, hey, I've got my best 3 well rested, and Baylor strikes out. Meanwhile, Roger Clemens, and that's Al Nipper with the towel around his neck. Clemens and Nipper like to run before games, and one time this year they ran before a game, came in, and 15 minutes before the game they were taking a shower, laughing and scratching. McNamara threw a laundry cart into the shower stall. I mean, once in a while John will get ticked off.
That's that controlled aggression that Gil Hodges, Gil would look at you and he could melt you just by looking at you, because the guy doesn't say a lot. Don't ever take that as a sign of weakness.
Here's Evans, fly to left, singled twice, 2 for 3. Slow curve and a number up along 3rd. They better let it roll, and it goes foul. They didn't have a play otherwise.
The only chance that had, if it would have been hit on that grass, and that grass would grab and hold it in, but you can see it's kind of beveled out. Ball club doesn't have a whole lot of speed. Now, if it had a whole lot of speed, that line could be painted with an extra coat. They could tilt that in a little bit. That would have stayed fair. And there are some groundskeepers who are just experts at that.
Game 6, Roger Clemens and Bobby Ojeda at Shea Stadium in New York. There's Bobby Ojeda now. He pitched a gem here to get the Mets even last night. 0-1 to count to Dwight. And there's a hopper down to Santana. He almost let the ball play him again, but this time he gets Evan. 2 down.
You know, Vin, looking at Ojeda, I tell you, I thought he handled himself so well because there were some vicious things said. I know one cartoon here had him, he's going to choke up, and that's a thing I always hate. And I tell you, he handled himself so well, and he said, I have no bittersweet. Hey, I'm with the Mets now. I enjoyed my time here. It's going to be quite a battle.
Here's Rich Gedman. Out in front. He was guessing fastball and got it, and he was still out in front of it. 0-1. Interestingly enough, Gooden went 4 innings plus and struck out 3. Fernandez has worked 2 1/3 and struck out 3. 0-2.
He got Gedman last time on 3 pitches.
And with runners at first and third. Chased a high one around the eyes to give him 4 strikeouts. And so Fernandez has retired 8 in a row, but it's still 4-0 Boston. The Red Sox leading the Mets 4-0 in the 8th inning, and the hopes, if this one is gone, is Bob Ojeda's next start at Shea Stadium against Roger Clemens. Dykstra fouling it to the screen. Lenny had a big at-bat tonight, but no miracles. He struck out instead. That was in the 5th inning with runners at second and third. He had singled in the 3rd and grounded out in the 1st. 1 for 3. Then Tuffle, then Hernandez. Down in the Red Sox bullpen, we have now come to that time of the game. Calvin Schiraldi is loosening up just in case they need him. Pretty good spot. You're leading 4-0 with Hurst. You have arrested Schiraldi and looking forward to Clemens.
And that's what John said all along. It hasn't just happened. It's part of his master plan.
0-2 to Dykstra. And he uppercuts that high change. The wind is playing with it, but Owen stays with it. Good play. Tough play under the conditions.
And that's what the shortstop does in his ballpark. He goes out all the time. Even though Rice was playing shallow because of the wall, that wind, Rice lets up here because he sees Spike Owen taking charge, and Spike makes the play. A little tentative. I don't blame him with Rice coming from left field, wanting to avoid the collision.
Tim Tuffle, a batter, double to right center, and the Mets had a chance to get something going, but they left him at third. Then he flied to left and grounded to third with runners at second and third and 2 out in the 5th after Dykstra had struck out. In there again. 0-2.
Tell you, I've heard scouts and I've heard general managers talk about, forget the statistics, innings pitched, consistency, and what they do with men at second and third, and how deep do they take the hitters. He rarely goes to a 3-2 count.
And that's it down the right field line, slicing away from Evans. It's got a chance. It's gone. A home run into the right field seats by Tim Tuffle. And that makes it Red Sox 4, Mets 1.
And Hurst was really disgusted with himself as he came off the mound. That ball was well hit. Make no mistake about it. The wind may have drifted it over there, but that was well hit.
So Tuffle with a double to right center and a home run to right. He has 4 hits against Hurst in their meetings. Take another look.
That wind takes it, but it's in there pretty good. It just doesn't sneak in there.
So 4-1 in favor of Boston, and the batter is Hernandez. 0 for 3. Grounded to second, flied to left, grounded to short. Right. So 7 and 8, 15 and a third scoreless innings, and the bubble bursts for Hurst. He gives up his first run to New York. The largest crowd of the 3 games here tonight, and that figures since this is the last game of the year at Fenway. 34,010.
Vin, we've talked about the radar gun almost all year and how effective it is and so forth and so on. If that ball doesn't move, you're in trouble. That ball Tuffle hit was the fastest pitch that Hurst made, 89 miles per hour, and ended up in the seats.
0-2. And that's going to be looped into right field for a base hit. So suddenly the Mets are trying to get their second look at the game. The first one was in the 5th inning, and now maybe here in the 8th as Gary Carter comes up. John McNamara, as we said, is in a good position. He has Schiraldi in the pen. And here is Carter. Grounded to second, struck out, grounded to third, 0 for 3. They just keep pitching him away, and he keeps either taking for a strike or lunging.
Just keep that ball away from him. That's what they've been doing.
0-1. Evans gives him just about all of right field. Henderson shaded to left center. So they're playing him to pull and keeping the ball away at the same time. Now working the dirt. 1-1. On deck, and it is certainly a consideration with the wind blowing out to right field, Darryl Strawberry. And of course 4-1 in this situation. Strawberry represents the potential tying run. Fastball away, hit off the end of the stick. Fielded by Barrett to get him, and down to second base goes Keith Hernandez. So the split-fingered fastball takes care of Gary Carter, and he kept it outside, and all Gary could do is hit it off the end of the stick. So 2 down, a big out. That takes a lot of heat off Hurst, and it brings up Darryl Strawberry.
And remember the last time up there, he was called out on strikes and had some words with Montague, and Hernandez had to move him away. He's just not sure of that pitch.
He grounded out in the second, singled in the 4th, and struck out, called out in the 6th inning. Fastball.
Slow curveball and the fastball, boy. He really gives a catcher the luxury.
And now everybody up at Fenway, and I mean everybody. Slow curve, popped up off third. Boggs coming over to get it. He's got it. One run, 2 hits, and Bruce Hurst is 3 outs away from giving the Red Sox a lead 3 games to 2.
Oh, boy.
Hi, I'm Larry. This is my brother Darryl. That's my other brother Darryl.
In right, he has had a tough time. When he struck out in the 6th inning, incensed and argued with Ed Montague. Bruce Hurst, meanwhile, not only got the outs in the 8th inning, I believe he is finished for the night. He shook hands all around with all of his teammates, got a towel and a windbreaker, put it on, and left the dugout. Now, I have a feeling he might have concluded his work in the 8th. It remains to be seen, but there he goes, perhaps annoyed that he's not allowed to go 9. Meanwhile, in the 8th, Dave Henderson, ball 1. And the chant continues, the taunt of Strawberry. Do you think maybe in Shea Stadium they'll start hollering Dwight?
Well, I just hope that I just hate to see that happen to a youngster with that kind of potential.
2-1. Of course, it's all part of the maturing process. Strawberry's only 24. Dave Henderson had a big night. A double and a triple. Struck out in the 4th inning. Sid Fernandez trying to get him. 2-2. High fly ball to Strawberry. Wind blowing it. 1 away. Boy, they're really on his case. Oh. be a big league ball player.
No.
Here's Owen, and a scoring fly ball, struck out and grounded out. 0 for 3.
Somebody say, well, I don't pay much attention to that. Oh, yeah?
I never hear the crowd.
Oh, yeah?
One ball, no strikes. Pretty good fastball there. A lot of movement on it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bunt foul. 1 and 2. Slow curveball. So all of a sudden, Sid Fernandez, 5 strikeouts, and the batter will be Wade Boggs. But Fernandez has quieted the Red Sox, but he can't do anything about the scoreboard. Well, the folks at Shea never had a chance to make much noise. The folks at Fenway had their only real opportunity tonight, and they're making the most of it. The battle of the decibels will continue in Game 6. Wade Boggs. 0 for 2, then single to center. Last time up, fly to left. Right. They're playing Boggs to go the other way. The infield is swung around. Hernandez is almost in the hole between first and second. He's so far away from the bag. Now back. Dykstra is over into left center. And Hernandez with the count 0 and 2.
The only pitch you'll be able to pull is something slow, breaking ball. If it's a fastball, he'll go the other way.
Line drive, and that hit Tuffle on the ankle. You talk about a ball eating up a second baseman. That took a bite out of Tim Tuffle's left ankle. Oh, did that hurt.
That was a knuckleball. He hit. The pitch was a fastball, but it went out there like a knuckleball. He's got the glove down and hit him right on the ankle. And I mean, he's more embarrassed than hurt right now. But I tell you something, that thing really knuckled out there. And whew, that's all you can say. It ate him up. It got to be hurting him, but he is just embarrassed. And I tell you, that thing really knuckled out there.
Wade Boggs with topspin. The good hitters do that. They hit that sinking line drive. And 1 minute Tuffle thought he had a play, and the next thing it hit him on the ankle. It will go as a base hit.
It should go as a base hit. That was really a tough chance.
They talk about too hot and too hard to handle. That was a perfect example. And here is Marty Barrett. And he drives it to the wall. Back goes Mookie. It's going to be off the scoreboard. Boggs will stop at third on a double by Marty Barrett.
Again, he keeps it going. 2 outs, and the big guys are up there.
So the line drive that eats up Tim Tuffle. Now Barrett doubles off the scoreboard.
And when it hits that scoreboard, it's liable to go anyway, but Mookie once again plays it well. Santana's out there. They don't use double cutoffs because it's so shallow. But once again, Barrett right in the middle of it.
Oh, Bill Buckner comes up. He singled to center. Was aboard on Santana's error and scored in the 3rd. Grounded out in the 4th. Flied to left in the 6th. Buckner again finding runners in scoring position. Almost every at-bat, it looks like he has somebody there. And he's only delivered twice in like 20 scoring position situations. Ball 1. So John McNamara 3 outs away from getting an edge, 3 games to 2, and then he plays his ace at Shea. But John still has a decision to make, although I think he's already made it, concerning whether Hurst or Schiraldi pitches the 9th inning. For the Mets, they might be much more so in the game had they played a good defensive game. Little pop foul off third. Ray Knight is there. And the Sox leave runners at second and third. And the Mets are still in the game. 4-1 Boston. The question has been answered. Bruce Hurst, who is bundled up and appeared to be leaving the dugout, has come back. He's on the mound, and Calvin Schiraldi is at the ready in the bullpen. Ray Knight, the batter.
Last 5 innings, 48 strikes and 10 balls for Hurst.
And Dave Stapleton at first base for Bill Buckner. Ground ball to Boggs, and the Sox are 2 outs away. The crowd looking for the last 2 outs of the 1986 season at Fenway Park. The batter is Kevin Mitchell, robbed of a hit by Boggs, single to right, and struck out on a curveball in the 7th inning. Ball 1. On deck, Mookie Wilson. Fastball popped up. Now let's see, who is it? Stapleton is calling. And the Sox are 1 out away. Everybody up. And some are down. He has been magnificent tonight. The only run, a home run to right field by Tim Tupple. Mookie has struck out, singled, and flied to right. Strike. The fans with a chance to say goodbye to their ball club, and New York waiting to say hello. Into the left field corner, and it's a base hit. Rice playing the carom. Mookie on his way for 2 in there easily. So a 2-out double by Mookie Wilson will bring up Rafael Santana. That is the 9th hit given up by Bruce Hurst, but only 1 run. Have left 7 men tonight. The Red Sox left another 11. Ball 1. On deck, Lenny Dykstra. And it's hit to the hole, base hit to right. Here comes Mookie, and Evans won't even go after him. He'll throw the ball into Marty Barrett, and suddenly, and wouldn't you know, for the umpteenth time, the little man becomes a big man. Lenny Dykstra representing the tying run.
He's been able to handle him, but again, big base hit has come from this little guy, and McNamara turning now.
However, the biggest moment for Dykstra tonight turned sour. With runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out, remember, he struck out on a high fastball. That's when the score was 2-0. Check swing on a curve right into the Mets dugout.
And that's the way he started him last time, was curve, curve, fastball, fastball.
0-1. So a 2-out double by Wilson, a single by Santana for a run. And Hurst now 0-1 on Dykstra. Let's go Bruce is the chant. And he bunched the curve foul in the count 0-2. And again, the Mets are down to their last strike. Oil Can Boyd talking to Buckner on one side, Nipper on the other. He would be the 7th-game pitcher against Ron Darling, whom you just saw, if there is a 7th game.
The pattern followed then. 2 curveballs, although Dykstra didn't bunt the last time, then he went to the fastball. Hurst did. Let's see what happens.
0-2. Fastball high, and he chased it again. for Lenny Dykstra. And Bruce Hurst is the winner. The Red Sox win it 4-2. They now have a 3-2 advantage. And Game 6, Roger Clemens and Bobby Ojeda will be back to the party after this. Tonight's NBC Miller Lite player of the game is Bruce Hurst, who was indeed magnificent. Miller Lite happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Bruce Hurst to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. So the winner in Game 1, win Game 5. Let's meet him and go to Marv Albert.
Thank you, Vin. And here is the man of the hour, Bruce Hurst. Was there anything in particular said before tonight's ball game after losing 2 straight here at Fenway?
Matt called a little meeting and just told us, we'd worked hard all year. We'd been at our backs to the wall, and he said that he'd taken some criticism over the way things had worked out in the way during the pitching staff, but he felt like he was where he wanted to be. And we had to go out and have some fun and play hard and just play tonight's game the best we could, and that's what we did.
As the crowd chants, Bruce, how do you explain the fact that lefties usually have a terrible time here at Fenway, and you have mastered this ballpark? 8-3 during the course of the regular season, 4 shutouts.
Well, I think that Ron Darling said it best yesterday. I listened to an interview of his. He said that Stottlemyre said that when he pitched here, he used to pitch away, and he used to get beat around. Then he decided just to pitch his own game and do what he felt like he had to do to win. He had success here, and that's basically the way you have to pitch in Fenway Park. You can't be intimidated by the wall or the configuration of the ballpark. Just pitch your game. Don't be afraid to go inside. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and you'll do all right.
Bruce, in game number 1 at Shea, you went to the plate 3 times, struck out 3 times. Any regrets about not getting to the plate here tonight?
None whatsoever, especially off Dwight. I was more than happy to have the DH in this ballpark, but it's a great win for us.
Okay, Bruce, congratulations.
Thank you, Marv. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get back upstairs to Vin and Joe.
A reminder for you folks to stay tuned following local news for The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, except on the West Coast and most Mountain Time Zone stations, where it will be seen at its regular time. And so Game 6, Bobby Ojeda and Roger Clemens, Saturday night at Shea. And there will be a lot of emotions there as Darryl Strawberry and the rest of the New York Mets try to gather and fight back and stay alive. It should be something, Joe.
It should be, Vin. It's the way McNamara planned it, and we'll be there.
So Ojeda battling to keep the Mets alive. Roger Clemens trying to slam the lid on him. And for Joe Garagiola, we'll talk to you Saturday night from Shea. Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good evening.